Aloha, guys. Yes, we are early. We're even earlier than what I put out there on the schedule. Initially, we were going to go live at 4 o'clock Hawaii time. However, we started getting some information coming in about Hannah. And over time, I was trying to decide what time do we go with, and heard we will be having a press conference at Hawaii time 3:30, 5:30 California time. So decided I'd come on live 5 minutes early and then said, forget it. Let's just come on live. We got a lot going on in this case. I think I've got the link and everything set up to pull up the press conference once the time pops up and they are live. So hopefully it's set to go. If anyone notices anything privately, let me know. But I think we are set with that. Guys, this is crazy. I today I had planned on originally going live about Hannah as well. Hello, Trishy. How you doing, my dear? By the way, let me pull all this stuff up so I can pull up your guys' comments. Hello, 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 my dear. We were going to talk about Trishy. Trishy. We were going to talk about Trishy. Hi, Trishy. We were going to talk about Hannah, but also Stephanie, and we still will be doing both of them. I am going to focus completely on Hannah initially, and then as we finish, the press conference finishes, we finish our discussion. We are then going to go and watch a press conference that came out today. The FBI held a press conference about Stefanie Damron, the 13-year-old that we talked about last week, Monday, I think it was. So we have some updates on her, and I know a lot of you have been following her, so I wanted to cover that too. In the meantime, though, we got people popping in. You guys have your notifications set. Thank you. And Miss Cluck Cluck Chicken Lady here. And we got hello, Miss Cristola. How you doing, my dear? And in the bushes, hello, 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 my dear. And I'm so happy to get people in here talking and all. I was worried I'd be alone for a while, to be honest. So I was definitely worried about that. I've been talking also privately with a couple other people. This has been frustrating. I think as we lead up to the press conference, I do want to go through the timeline because what's been frustrating me with this whole thing with Hannah right now, you guys know how I feel. We are not owed information. And I'm going to start off with that. We are never owed information, about, a criminal case, a missing case, things. As long as the police are doing their job and working with everyone else, that's great. Okay, and I'm cool with that. However, when we started getting some of the stuff that was popping up over the last few days, where you had the commission sharing out information on Hannah, and yet family not feeling like they were being included with it, and then information that was being shared was completely wrong. I mean, saying she was 23 when they knew she was 30. That's what we were going to go over a lot of that today, go over all that stuff. But this all started up today. And yes, exactly. As being brought up in chat, they are saying Hannah voluntarily went away. We heard that she voluntarily missed her flight the other day. That's what the commissioner was saying. Hello to those of you also that I'm missing. BC is in the house. Hey, BC. Hey, CCS Presents. Hey there. Welcome, welcome, welcome from Maine. And we are going to, by the way, just a reminder, we are going to be talking about, Stephanie today. That is happening also. We have actually two different press conferences that we'll be watching during this live. And also, they are saying, and it'll be interesting to see what people have to say with what's going on. Hello, Collins Custom Service. And yeah, and that's the thing. When it comes to information being given out, there are lines that are crossed at times that can actually hurt cases. Okay. I do think family are owed, information. Now, I agree. Sometimes some families will take that information and share things that could actually hurt the case. but the majority of families want, especially if the family is extremely involved, which is what I think was going on in this case. So, hey, KK, how you doing, my dear? And Seal is doing tree work. Oh, no, that sounds interesting. And so let's do this while we're waiting for, and I'm kind of watching. We're actually, when it does come on, we're going to be watching KABC. I also have the NBC link up if I have to switch to that one. However, let's, before we go into this, um, let's review the timeline. And yeah, I know the question is already coming up. People are like, is she really there on her own? Did she not? Okay, those are questions that are going to be okay. I really want to see what the police have to share. There's been a lot of changes last 24 hours. Yeah, Christola, what's your dumb question? There's no such thing as a dumb question. Don't you know that? It took me a while to figure that out in life, but once I figured it out, I'm like, yeah, no such thing. So go ahead, ask away, and holding off and taking your meds so you can be here without falling asleep. Yes. And so while Christola asks her, oh, okay, is the font on your screen? Oh my gosh, you notice the font is changing. The font I actually put onto the screen is actually through Restream. You can change the font. And those of you guys who've been here know I switched from StreamYard to Restream because of StreamYard like doubling their pricing. And also that's where that's from. So this story, the story of Hannah started on November 8th. And I'm going to go through this so that when the time comes and we sit down, we can kind of go through all this and listen to what the police have to say. She landed in LA at 9:53 p.m., if you recall, and then missed her 11 p.m. connection to New York. Sorry, dogs are going crazy. Saturday, the next day, from noon to 3, she was at the Grove. She was at Tation or I think it's Tation Books. At 2:43, she took a picture there, sent it to her auntie. And it is believed that she returned to LAX. The night before, she did stay at LAX. That second night, it's believed. And Monday, November 9th, November 11th, 5 p.m., she is spotted talking to a ticketing agent at LAX. There's some discussion. Was she thinking about coming back to Hawaii? Was she staying, moving on? What was going on? Getting her luggage back, stuff like that. At 9:04, this is when I think everything officially changes. And I think this is what we're going to see as we hear the rest of the story. At 9:04 p.m., November 11th, she boards the LAX Metro C line at Aviation Century Station. From there, she transfers trains to the Rosa Parks Station and is confirmed at this time. And this is the part that has so many of us confused. She's confirmed to be with an unknown person at this time. Okay. Family were concerned about the interaction there. She didn't, okay, there was something that felt off about it. That could be because it was off, or it could be that, you know what, we as I'm sure loved ones, I do this with my own family. If I'm worried about something, I see things that way. That's just how I visualize the universe when I'm worried about someone I care about. And but she is confirmed to be with that person. We've never been told as of right now, has that person been interviewed or not? They may have been. Hopefully we'll find out by the end of this. 10:03 p.m., 1 hour later, she is seen on video departing the Metro Pico station with that person. Okay. So this is the kickoff of the change between waiting for her flight and whatever happens or ended up happening. Okay. Is that person involved? Did they speak with her about her plans? We now know, okay, that she is in Mexico, or she crossed into Mexico, at least. So at 10:03, she gets off of the Pico station. 8 hours later, just about, November 12th Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning. Hello, Red Rock. Hey, hey, hey. 6:30 in the morning. She is seen at the Greyhound terminal, okay, at Union Station, getting on, okay, and it has been found out by someone else that she was getting on a bus that left at 6:35 a.m. and was heading to San Ysidro. So it was heading down, basically getting pretty close to the Tijuana area. Okay. BC, and that's a good question. This person that we keep hearing, the family says they did not recognize this person. And that's been the concern from the beginning. They never recognized this person. And based off of that, I mean, you're like, what do we do? What do we do? Okay, is that person still with her? Okay, did they separate? Well, the one thing we do know is at Union Station, she was not with that person anymore. She was on her own. Now, as the family said, we don't know. Could that person have been someone somewhere else? Union Station does have a lot of cameras. Hopefully, they're able to check. It does look like they are starting to do some coverage right now on ABC, so I'm keeping an eye. They're just covering stuff right now. And also, we'll switch over to them as soon as we can. As soon as they go live with the actual press conference, we'll go over there. But they don't see this person anymore. It's just Hannah. And Hannah getting on this bus that is heading down south towards the Tijuana area. Okay, San Ysidro or Ysidro. Now we are being told that on November 12th, yeah, exactly, KK. Someone from Greyhound spoke out and confirmed she showed her ID and she was alone. Okay, I am going to switch. I don't know if this is switching now or not. Let's see. I think
Assistant Chief Chow, Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton, and Lieutenant Oldfield from our Missing Persons Unit. I wanted to provide you an update on the ongoing search for 30-year-old Hannah Kobayashi, who was reported missing last month. As the family is aware, late yesterday, after traveling to the U.S.-Mexico border, we reviewed video surveillance from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which clearly shows Kobayashi crossing the United States border on foot into Mexico. She was alone with her luggage and appeared unharmed. At this time, Kobayashi's case has been classified as a voluntary missing person. I know over the last few days there have been several questions raised surrounding her flight to New York. Our investigation, corroborated by video evidence, clearly shows Hannah at LAX appearing unharmed after arriving from Maui on November 8th of this year. For unknown reasons, she decided not to board her pre-scheduled flight to New York that same day. From November 8th to 11th, video footage and still imagery showed Hannah at various locations around Los Angeles. This information was subsequently verified by LAPD detectives. While she did check her bag through to New York, she requested her bag be sent to her at LAX, where we have surveillance footage of her retrieving it from the baggage carousel on November 11th. LAPD Missing Persons Unit has conducted extensive witness interviews, reviewed video surveillance, and collaborated with local and federal law enforcement agencies on this case. To date, the investigation has not uncovered any evidence that Kobayashi is being trafficked or is the victim of foul play. She is also not a suspect in any criminal activity. Additionally, the investigators noted that before departing Maui, Kobayashi expressed the desire to step away from modern connectivity. Our priority is ensuring Ms. Kobayashi's safety and well-being, and we urge Ms. Kobayashi to contact her family, law enforcement, or personnel at the U.S. Embassy to let us know that she is safe. She has a right to her privacy, and we respect her choices, but we also understand that the concern her loved ones feel for her. A simple message could reassure those who care about her. While the LAPD investigation will not continue into Mexico, if anyone has credible information about Hannah's whereabouts, please contact local law enforcement. If Kobayashi returns to the United States, law enforcement will be notified. The missing person case will remain active in the missing and unidentified persons system until her safety is confirmed by law enforcement. Anyone with additional information regarding this case may contact the Los Angeles Police Department at 877-LAPD 24/7 or 877-527-3247. Anonymous tips can also be submitted to Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers at www.lacrimestoppers.org. Let me open it up now if you have any questions. If I cannot answer them, if the detail is such, I will refer it to one of my partners here.
Safe to say that no crime has been committed yet, no evidence of that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Safe to say that no crime has been committed, there is no evidence of it.
At this point, we have not been able to determine any crime has been committed.
Chief, given that there's no reason then for any law enforcement agency to detain or arrest her at all at this point.
That's correct.
Is there any indication from her family that there were arguments, disagreements, problems prior to her leaving Hawaii and during a period of a month where she's been sort of seen, not seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's no indication that there would be anything to cause this to happen in this fashion for her to go off. But like any family situation, you know, who knows what the dynamics are.
How did you learn that she had a desire to disconnect from modern technology? How did you learn that piece of information?
Yeah, let me address that to Lieutenant Oldfield, if you would, Doug.
I'll take your first and last name, please.
Douglas Oldfield, Douglas, last name Oldfield, Oldfield. I'm the officer in charge of the Special Enforcement Section out of Detective Support and Vice Division, which handles the missing person unit.
Good question.
Right, so for the question of whether she wanted to disconnect, by looking at her past social media, we then saw indications that there were some desires or posts that would be consistent in somebody who would have the desire to disconnect from their phone. I think it's not something that I have available right now. It's just that was part of the investigation. Are we 100% right on that? We can't say, right? We just know that she did not have her phone after she left LAX, right, around 1800 to 1900. We know she doesn't have her phone on her. For what reason? We can't say for sure.
How did she get
Where's her phone?
to the U.S.-Mexico border? Do you have any idea?
Yes. So she traveled through the MTA. She then made it to Union Station. At Union Station, she used her passport and cash to purchase a ticket to get to the border, and she then crossed the border.
Have you seen the video of the border? How would you kind of
Yes.
describe or characterize how she appeared to be?
She appeared fine. She was with nobody else. I have nothing additional, but I have observed the video, yes.
I spoke with Hannah's sister earlier today. She says the family disagrees with law enforcement's assessment. What do you say to them?
Well, fantastic. Thank you.
Alan Hamilton, I'm the Chief of Detectives for the LAPD. We understand that there are concerns on behalf of family and friends. We've been very transparent with the family to this point. We have had daily communication and contact with family members, and we've given all the information that we can provide in terms of what our investigation has entailed, what the efforts have been on behalf of the LAPD and other partner law enforcement agencies. We've put a lot of resources into this investigation. So just to be clear to the public, the LAPD has taken this report seriously from the moment that we received it, and we have expended a lot of resources to include a trip this past weekend to the U.S.-Mexico border to collaborate with our partners there. So this is an investigation where we've done a lot of things face-to-face with our partners, and we've gone to extraordinary measures in terms of our technological investigations in this case. We've really left no stone unturned, and it's led us to this conclusion and the information that the chief is providing today.
Alan, I don't know whether you or the lieutenant wants to run, but is there anything in the information you gained from previous messages, things like that, which mentioned a name of a person, a group, or something that might want to assist her in disconnecting from society? Is this an individual desire, or does she express some kind of a knowledge or an awareness of a certain type of pattern of social organization she might want to join somewhere in Mexico?
Generalized individual desire, we have no information that she's working with anyone else.
You guys have had a couple of these cases recently, unfortunately, where women have decided to just, make a change or disappear on their own. Just any words you would say to someone thinking about this, or just refer to them, I guess? You guys take all these cases so seriously. It requires a lot of manpower.
A tremendous amount of manpower, yeah. Yeah, a lot of personnel involved in any major investigation like this, and in order to try and protect those that are in many cases very vulnerable. My ask would be to anybody considering doing this, think about the people that you're leaving behind, your loved ones who are going to be worried sick
Amen.
about you, the number of people, including law enforcement and other partners who are going to be looking for you, which then potentially takes them away from other work that is also critically important. So there's a lot other than somebody just deciding that they want to leave and disconnect. Consider those that are behind you and those that will be impacted by your actions.
Obviously, your heart goes out to the family. They're worried about the
Absolutely.
future. And of course, we know that the father is gone as well. So
Right.
this is a family that's faced a lot of tragedy.
Right.
What would you say to them, Chief?
I'm very sorry to the family for all that they've been through throughout this ordeal. We're very sorry for their loss. And I don't know that words can express, the feelings that they're going through during this very difficult
Amazing.
time. But there's a lot of people very much in support of what they're going through.
In essence, Chief, this is back on the family at this point. They and the daughter basically have got to settle this between them.
Yeah, I mean, we've basically done everything we can do at this point. She's left the nation, left the country, and in another nation now. So, as I mentioned in the earlier comments, that if she comes back into the U.S., law enforcement will be notified of that, and try and do whatever we can if there's a need to at that time.
Mexican authorities, though, have a certain degree of latitude way beyond what forces here in the United States might have. Have you advised them of the situation, filled them in as much as you can? Might they decide to take action on their own, whatever that might decide to be?
Yeah, I haven't had any interaction. I don't know if, no, nothing, no.
And what day did she cross over and roughly what time?
Oh, I can.
Yeah,
That was
please.
my word.
November 12th at 12:13 p.m. She walked through the tunnel that leads to Mexico.
And in San Diego there? Yeah.
Yeah, she walked through so it's the San Ysidro port of entry,
Walk.
and she walked through the tunnel that leads to Mexico, and that was at 12:13 on the 12th, 12:13 p.m.
What about the text messages that she sent to her family before everything was silent? It sounded as though she was in distress. Can you speak to her state of mind and what indication that gave to you?
Yeah, we want me to address it?
Yeah, if you would.
So we can't speak to her state of mind. We are aware there have been some communications prior. We are aware of that communication, and we cannot necessarily interpret. I think some of the communication can be interpreted a number of different ways. So at this time, we're not able to interpret those communications without having Hannah present to explain, how she felt when she sent them and what the specific meanings were for those messages.
Let's do one more question. Hannah was seen with an unknown person at Metro Station
I can
near
address that.
Crypto.com Arena.
Yeah.
Any idea who that person was?
So the question was about the individual that she was identified traveling with on the Metro. We have identified that individual.
Okay.
That individual was cooperative in the investigation. That individual cooperated by allowing himself to be interviewed with his attorney present and family members. He gave a full disclosure of the entire sequence of events. We utilized independent investigative techniques to verify his story, and it fully checked out.
What was the relationship? What was the connection?
They met at LAX. All right. Thank you.
All right, the LAPD now giving information
Okay.
about the disappearance of Hannah Kobayashi.
So let
It
me
was
pull that
voluntary
down
from
real
their,
quick, and let's get through it. I've been kind of starring comments so we can go through a lot of this stuff. Again, just a reminder, once we are done talking about Hannah today, we are going to talk about Stefanie Damron. There was an FBI press conference about her today also. However, let's go. I don't want to delete all that because I don't want to lose all the other stuff I have there. Okay, lots of answers, a lot more questions. I am going to just start this whole thing. Okay, it really would have been nice, and I'm sorry, but again, police aren't required to share stuff with the public, and I get that. But when you see something that's becoming such a big case and information might be getting out that is potentially not right, okay, or potentially could hurt someone, like this unidentified man, okay, he's been cleared. Why? What? It's not up to the family to let everyone know that he's been cleared. The police could have let us know that. It would have been nice if that had happened. It's kind of like, I'll be honest, okay, I think this case got ahead of the police when it came to publicity, PR. Even to the point where all of this was blowing up on social media. You had all the main media channels and stuff like that covering this, and there still was not a press release about any of this. It was all things that police were talking to the media behind the scenes, and everything got shared out. But nothing ever came out until all of a sudden they realized, oh my God, this is much bigger than we realized. We got to do a press conference instead. So, but let's do this. So, this does answer some of the questions that I had, because one of my biggest concerns I had was the fact that if she crossed she crossed into Mexico on the 12th, and we now know at 12:13 p.m. on the 12th, her father passed away 12 days later. And that's been an issue from day one. Okay, how long did they know that she had crossed, whether willingly or unwillingly, even if it was just a rumor mill thing that she had crossed? Okay, where Homeland Security said, they said, we're flagging someone that might be her, but we're not positive of that. Because that there really worried me, that 12 days later on that. Now, let's go through. I pinned a bunch of comments here. So let's go through these comments that were coming up in chat during all that. And guys, add in your own comments. I've got both things up. And we are not going to sit there and be an a-hole in chat. So sorry, certain things get deleted. And guys, we're going to be respectful of people. There are people in this case. I know some people are worried that, you know what, was this a scam? Was this? Was this? I'm not going to believe this was a scam. I don't. Family respond in cases because they love their loved ones. So what is her family saying now? We know from the beginning they were worried about their daughter, okay, their sister, their niece, all those things. And they responded in the same way that I think every one of us out here do. Okay, if you all of a sudden started getting the messages that they got, you would have responded most likely the same way. You would report them, you would do those things, okay, and stuff. You're going to report them. That's what we should be doing when we love our loved ones. I don't think, honestly, especially with everything that I know, some people are saying, oh yeah, no, this was a setup from the beginning and they were all in, and then she came and she got rid of dad. What? Sorry. There's sometimes I think we're going overboard in trying to see things that aren't necessarily there. Okay, a belief that family members are disposable. No. And to me, that's sickening that we even suggest that. I understand questions and concerns and how about this, and even frustration. I understand frustrations right now. But no. And in the bushes, exactly. And that's what happened. Okay. And that kind of goes along with what KK was saying also about the site coming down, the Facebook coming down. Facebook came down yesterday. It's actually still up there, but it's private and it's just not active. It's just there from what I see. And family, last we've heard from the family, of okay, other than what you're hearing from people who have spoken with them and all that, if they are sharing information, is that Yeah, exactly, KK. It's respect. It's being respectful for people who have lost a hell of a lot over the course of this. Okay. Yesterday, in fact, I'll be honest with you, I was in the process of trying to figure out how we could do something locally to bring attention to her. And I was trying to figure out how to post it. And I went to go post something and I realized that you couldn't post anymore. So I had sent a message and all that. Later, a message came out, and basically, here, actually, I'll bring this up real quickly and we'll share it real quick. This is the message that was posted and then later taken down from the site. And they did say they were going to take this down. Give me just a second to pull it up. Hannah Kobayashi. Here we go. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, gang. Takes me a second to get this thing shared out. Share screen. Okay, so they posted this message to help us find Hannah's Facebook page. Okay, and it was posted anonymously last night that the family had been faced with the difficult decision to remove the Find Hannah page from Facebook. While Sydney and her mother believe the greater majority of the individuals on this page genuinely care and are interested in helping find Hannah, the negativity and attacks on their family have become more than they can bear. And guys, this is not something that none of us have ever heard before. I hate to say it. How many times do we hear family members who literally open up Facebook groups and then all of a sudden the trolling starts, the threats start, all these things start. And these families aren't prepared for this crap. And hey, Robbie, welcome, welcome, my dear. And families are not prepared for this crap that's coming. And these families are dealing with the worst nightmares of their life. And I still do believe that this family, okay, they had the nightmares of what's happened to her. Is it a mental health break, which could have led in one direction that would not have been good? Is it a trafficking direction that could go this direction? There's still tons of questions going on in their head. So this all happened. They made the decision, but there were more reasons. As recent as yesterday, there were threats against their lives and the lives of their small children. That alone would have me shut down a Facebook group. If I was running it, and I don't care if it was there to bring attention to my family member who was missing or not, if there was the possibility that people were threatening my child, I would take that down because my child means the world to me. So I get it. I get that. And I think it's sickening that there are people out there who will take the worst scenario in the world, whether it's real or not in your head, that can be your own decision. That's ridiculous. Okay, threatening children, threatening other people's lives. And we know this happens because it happens all over YouTube, all over Facebook, all over the X, all over Instagram, TikTok. Okay, people are always making threats about this and that. But when you got a family who literally just lost their dad, their husband, and now there's threats going on their children and their own lives, yeah. This has prompted them to make formal reports to the FBI and make a difficult decision to remove the page. And I'm sure they were being told what was coming up. And they're like, you know what? We don't need this both stuff going on. Let's pull it all together. The family will continue to rely on the private professionals and legal counsel to assist in their efforts moving forward. To those of you who graciously donated to the family's GoFundMe, and we will address that in a second. I know that was some of the questions some of you rest assured that Sydney is being fiscally responsible with those funds and utilizing every dime to bring Hannah to safety and lay her father Ryan to rest. The family extends their heartfelt gratitude to those who have shown sincere support without judgment and without seeking self-promotion or personal gain from their tragedy. At this time, Sydney and her mother will not be responding to any messages. They have made it clear they do not support any family talking to them. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this. Okay, there. Remember, they don't support any family members speaking out. Okay, and then we get into some other stuff that I think was some internal potential family discord that was going on at the time. Guys, you have to realize when shit is happening like this, that is when people start fighting. Think about it. Okay, how many times when a child of a couple is murdered, unalived, how often does that mom and dad end up divorced? Okay, these are normal things that happen. People want to say, "Oh, look at what happened there." Oh, guys, this look at history. Look at how behavior works. And um yeah, Hawaii is a small, and you know what? We're getting more and more. I'll be honest. Now, Maui, different from Oahu. Oahu is very, I mean, it's like a big city here. And but yeah, there are multiple islands and stuff like that. And you go to the neighbor islands, big difference. Um Now, okay, now let's get going. Let me go back to the pin stuff real quick. And I am watching, and Gerald, I see what you're saying. Let's see. And you know what? And I can understand the concerns people have with a GoFundMe thing. I think one of the important things, and let me just skip over to the GoFundMe bit real quickly. Um, okay, here we go. Okay, and I know KK, this isn't necessarily your beliefs, you're just sharing information. And a lot of people are saying, was it a scam? Was it this? Was it that? You know what? If again you realize that a loved one has gone missing. And again, you don't know. We now know what no one knew 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We now know what perhaps even her father didn't even know. Okay, Monday morning quarterbacking is an amazing thought process, isn't it? And so every, every time someone goes missing, we know, especially those of us who follow and try to advocate for the missing, you realize how much money goes into trying to find a loved one, whether it be making posters, whether it be getting a PI hired, whether it is getting reward money together, whether it is travel, whether it be across an ocean or across a continent. Okay, all those things happen. And you know what? A large percentage create GoFundMes to help support that. As a GoFundMe, none of us are required to donate to a GoFundMe. No one requires that. We go into it knowing what we know. Now, I got news for you. If someone starts a GoFundMe and it's later on proven that there is something illegal and illicit behind it would get caught, and I think police will be after it, and there will be, okay, actual things going on where you got people being arrested and stuff like that. Okay, I think that's a big issue there. Okay, so if you're worried about scams and stuff like that, trust me, the police are looking at it. If the police are smelling any possibility that something like that is going on, they're going to act on their level. And so, just for everyone, before you donate to a GoFundMe, think it through. We don't have the whole picture yet. Okay, part of supporting people is doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Don't donate if you don't have the ability to donate. If you're going to come back later and say, well, I didn't have the money to do, then don't do it. And you give out of the goodness of your heart. And that there's a lot of comments being said right now in chat, and that I agree. I think, for example, there's a very good chance that there could have been a mental health breakdown going on here. Very good chance. I've had that kind of in the back of my head for a while now. This is where a lot of my question comes. The time frame of this. And police don't owe us the answers on this stuff. Okay, I just hope they look at it. There was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, if only, and I may be wrong. Okay, when someone goes missing, is their photo put into a system? I thought so. Okay, where you could recognize things going on. Okay, if they're recognized on any computer software out there, maybe that computer software isn't hooked up to catch people who are crossing the border. How did police find out that they needed to go down there and check this footage? Someone recognized that footage there. When did the Greyhound person speak up and say, oh, yeah, she bought a ticket to go here? How are those? Most likely, unfortunately, timing wise, things, okay, take longer to come up with whatever you can come up with. The answers take a while. And, but it's scary. I'm definitely working. Yeah, she walked onto exactly in the bushes. She literally just walked into, let me pull down for that. She walked onto Mexico on foot, dragging luggage. Okay, see, these are the things that I'm sure the family are still worried about. She's an adult. She has a right to go missing. Once we are old enough to make those decisions, we have a right to go off on our own. I would hope at some point she would speak up and, okay, let them know I'm fine. I'm okay. And the fact that she hasn't contacted anyone with the death of her dad and stuff like that is, yes, and I know there was estrangements and stuff like that. But there's also other stuff that goes in with that. And those are the questions that have family concerned. And I'm sure they're still concerned. I would still be concerned. Put yourself in their shoes for a few minutes. If you had a child or a sibling who was now in Mexico, walked into Mexico with all their luggage behind them, okay, and oh, well, they got there on their own and they paid on their own and stuff like that, would that be enough to make you feel like, oh, she's fine? Now, it doesn't give us the right to go tracking her down and stuff like that, but we hope and pray that she herself. Now, the family might make that decision, okay, to get a PI to go check and make sure she's safe and all. Yeah, doesn't matter how old your child is, they're still your child. I'm 53 and my mom will never, ever lay off of me, no matter what. Okay. See, Red Rock, that's my thing. I thought there was more facial recognition going on over there. And it just frustrates me because could we have solved this? She was in Mexico for 12 days before her father unalived himself. And it's heartbreaking to know, could there have been a chance that we could have found out earlier? And now, on that note, I am going to say this. Okay, due to things like defund the police, that's one of the reasons why we're having this problem right now. How many of you guys have heard about how the police, okay, the missing person department, sorry, my phone's ringing, the missing person department in LA has how many detectives in it? I actually just gave you guys the answer without realizing it. Let me know. Any of you guys in chat know how many people there are detectives sitting in the missing person department in Los Angeles? I thought maybe 13, 14, 15 people, something like that. If I'm hearing correct, and please correct me in, okay, the comments and stuff, I know you will, so please do. Three people to handle all of the missing people in Los Angeles. How the hell are they supposed to find these people this quickly? This is what happens with defund the police. And you know what? Okay, I can understand. And that's why I'm not going to come down on the police or anything, because they are really trying to do everything they can. Yes, I think the investigation was done pretty well on this, to be honest. I think the communication side may have been a little lacking. And the reason why I say that, in all honesty, isn't just the fact of what the family was saying the other day, okay, about the fact that the commissioner, when they were giving the update and all, was saying she was 23 years old and spills all this stuff. And yeah, 0 if you're over 18. That's true too. I hate to put it, but that is true. And unofficially. Oh my gosh, okay, give me a second, Cupcake. We're going to do a sing in a second. But it's In the case of the PR side of this, the PR, I hate the word PR, the publicity side of this, the information, public information side of this. It's not just those things. It's the fact, like I said a few minutes ago, today, okay, for the last 2.5 hours, we have known she had crossed the border into Mexico. All of us knew that if you were watching the news. It literally was trending on X. Okay, Twitter. Okay, trending. And yet there was not a single press release informing us of all this. All of this information was coming from people talking to other people. Those are the issues I've got. And all. Oh no, Cupcake. There's always a reason. Okay. Are we gonna just real quick? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cupcake. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my dear. Sorry it wasn't longer. And but no, you deserve a happy birthday. Every year deserves a happy birthday, my dear. And so no, happy birthday to you, my dear. KK is saying, which may be our answer right there. She seems to be fine and left of her own free will, and so they need to move to the next. And that's the thing. Okay, police are doing what they need to do right now. It is. Pick up, they've got their answer. Officially, they have to move on. With that few detectives there, they have other cases to look into now. Now, they kind of let you know something when they said, okay, I mean, I'll be honest, I think there's looking into what happened. We don't know what happened. Is this a mental break where she's making decisions without really thinking it through? That happens. It does. Or was this something that was pre-planned by her, something like that? We don't know. We don't know. And we may never know. Okay, the only reason why it would be something that should be shared with us would be if it becomes a criminal case or something. Okay, she left their jurisdiction on her own, exactly in the bushes. And now that does not take away from the fact that her family is still having to deal with this. Her family is still trying to figure out, and her family is probably still scared S-less that something may happen to her there. The same way any of us would be worried if our child, okay, was, hell, I go to New York, okay, and I was there one night and my mom flew a fit when I told her I just wanted to walk down to 7-Eleven on my own. And I'm 53 years old. Okay, that's just being a family member. And so let me check if there's any other pin things we have here. Chicken Lady, that was a very, very good question. What does she know? Does she know anything, honestly? Okay, if she is in Mexico, how much is being shared there? I don't know what the things are like. Okay, depending on where she is and stuff like that, she may not even know right now. In fact, there's a part of me that's kind of hoping she doesn't know because of that mental health side of it. And it's just big time fears there. And then we talked about the GoFundMe bit and stuff like that. And I think right now we all just got to remind ourselves when we look. Yeah, I'm really hoping she knows nothing about what's going on. She doesn't have maybe access to TV. She may not have newspaper access. We don't know where in Mexico she is right now. And other than to say, and if she does know, that means she does have the, but yeah, the no tech side. Okay, she doesn't have her phone with her. So the only way she is going to get information, okay, is going to be if she happens to walk by a newspaper. We are lucky, I guess lucky I'd say, enough that this is such a large story. It's not limited to just the US. Okay, you've got her all over, but the fact she did go off grid, exactly, BC, she wanted to go off grid and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, to me, that the fact you would take your passport with you, Now, unless that passport is also her source of identification, and that I have had some friends who travel with their passport because other than their state ID or something, they don't drive, things like that. A lot of people don't drive anymore. And so that is possible. But to me, I only travel with my passport if I'm going out of country. So that is, yeah, no, I can understand that. Okay. And yeah, that would make sense. Exactly, Crystal. If she took her passport with her, that could be one more thing to add to the whole idea. Was she planning to go on her own? Is it okay in the bushes? I wasn't sure. I haven't been to Mexico in so many years. I don't even know, but it isn't much of a thing in Mexico. That makes sense. North American news. That makes sense. Um, so I don't know. I'm not sure right now exactly. I can say this. Her case on the level of being a missing, unless we hear something further. Okay. If, say, all of a sudden someone gets video footage or something of someone with her, or gets a picture of her somewhere else in Mexico where she's with someone, or we're hearing about other things going on. But at this point, there are so many people. We've got to keep those things. Now we keep her in our prayers, definitely, and her family, because her family will they won't give up. They shouldn't give up. They love their loved one. And I wouldn't give up ever. And let me just check if there's anything else here. And by the way, just a reminder, we are going to move on to Stephanie in a few minutes here. But yeah, no, there's, everything in my life is about quality assurance, what we say in nursing, okay, long-term care, healthcare, and all that. And hopefully the police are standing back and looking at everything and trying to figure out, okay, what worked well in this? What do we need to improve on? Things like that. Dealing with families is always rough because you're dealing with emotions. And, but do they need to look? Because from my understanding, there's a new chief of police, if I'm correct on this. I thought I just heard this at the end, that there is a new, so there's a lot of changes going on. So hopefully they'll be looking at that. While we are talking that, I'm going to make sure to pull up one other thing, because there were a lot of things that should not. I mean, the commissioner probably should not have been the one making a lot of especially, I could see the commissioner making those comments. Okay, it's the final report. If this was a small case that no one knew about. But at the time he made that report, this was a national story at that point. And having a press release before that, especially a press release where you've error checked it and made sure you're not getting her age as wrong as 23 versus 30, those types of things, important. Okay, having things correct is always important. And also, I have a lot of things pulled up that we were going to go over that don't matter as much now. We were going to go actually over the commission video, but no need for that right now. But just for those of you who are joining in right now, what they are saying is at Tuesday, so Monday and Tuesday were the dates that truly everything started changing. Things were already changing before that. But Monday, she started working her way through the metro, okay, towards Union Station. Arrived at Union Station, 6:30 a.m., or 6:35 was at Union Station on Tuesday, the 12th. Got on a transportation, a bus, I guess. Okay, Greyhound to go down to San Ysidro. From there, 6 hours later or so, she ends up walking under her own, volition into Mexico near Tijuana. And there is border security footage of that, which I'm sure will be shared with the family and all that. That makes sense there. And 12 days later, of course, we know about her father passing away. They did mention that she wanted to disconnect from modern technology. Still a lot of questions. I'm not going to lie, guys. There's a hell of a lot of questions in this. A lot of things that just don't feel right. But that's the thing. Okay, there's always going to be questions no matter what. So let me see if I can find now the video for the next one. So Stefanie Damron. Let's see. Did I accidentally lose that? Do I have to pull it up? 1 second. Let me just find Stephanie. Here we go. Is Stephanie here somewhere? Okay, perfect. Let me pull this back. Okay. So Stefanie Damron. I'm going to kind of switch us over to Stefanie Damron at this point. For those of you who are not actually, let me go over here and change that picture there. We'll keep it there for a second while I try to find all this. Okay, video. And Stefanie Damron, actually, I covered her last week on Monday. And she's a 13-year-old who is not getting nearly enough coverage in my eyes. Truly is not getting the coverage that I think she should be getting at this point. Just real quickly. Sorry, get that picture changed out to Stephanie for y'all. 13-year-old who basically what ended up happening was a couple weeks ago, well, 60 days ago, something like that. She actually had a fight with her sister, and there we go. Okay. Sorry, gang. Just want to get this set up correctly. Okay, there we go. Stephanie had a fight with her sister and walked out of the house. She and her family, for those of you who don't remember, live in the woods, really close to the border. Very, very close to the border. You're right, Collins. She is 14 now. Her birthday, she was gone over her birthday. And that says something there too. Okay. I mean, as a 13, 14-year-old, we're not hearing anything about it whatsoever. So let me just switch us back so I can pull up your guys' messages real quickly again. Okay, here we go. Chat. There we go. Okay. So they live really close to the border in Maine, between Maine and Canada. Really close to the border. And I think it's like 20 miles, something like that, if I recall. And the fight occurred between her and her sister. She walked out of the house, never to be seen again. Now, there's a lot of different things going on. Initially, she was not reported missing by her family because she had wandered away before. Okay, and things like that. So they thought, oh, she'll show back again for sure. When she didn't, they went ahead and called the police. And I will be honest, it looks like it's taken a little while for this case to actually really, I don't want to say be taken seriously as much as just to be really focused on. But now we have the FBI involved. Okay, we have other groups together looking around for her. And now, as of today, we actually have a reward being offered on top of everything else. So what I want to do is share this real quickly. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, and pull this up. It's not real long, but it is long enough. Okay, and he starts off, he's very soft, but then they bump the volume up. So just as a warning for you guys on that, let me get the captions are on for you guys. So we should be good here. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Scott Goslin. I'm a major with the Maine State Police. The Maine State Police called this press conference in conjunction with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to help bring attention to the disappearance of 14-year-old Stefanie Damron. Stefanie was last seen on September 23rd, leaving her home in New Sweden on foot and walking into the woods behind her home. Stefanie's family is very concerned for her safety, as are we. And to our knowledge, Stefanie does not have current access to electronic devices and has limited access to social media. We are looking for help from the public in order to maintain a vigilance for Stefanie and to report any tips or leads that might be helpful to our investigation. Stefanie is a white female, approximately 5 feet tall, 130 pounds, with shoulder-length brown hair, green eyes, as last reported.
Let me see if I can get the volumes boosted as much as I've got it there. Let me see what else I can do here. I think I bumped it as much as I could, but let me see what else. In the meantime, while I'm trying to do this, let me share with you guys. So she herself actually, I think I'm at 100% right now on this. She had no, yeah, it does get better over time. It just takes a second for them to kick it in. And sorry about that, guys. And as I said, she had no access to phone. She didn't have a phone. Okay. She had her grandfather had a phone that she had access to. And the concern is, could she have gotten speaking with someone connected with that? Okay. Could she have been talking to someone who later picked her up? Okay. Could she be in the woods? There are other concerns. There are past concerns, red flags involving family members. Now, again, history does not equate to, and I'm going to say this every single time, guys, because we as a true crime community love to grab onto something and we don't leave that one idea. I'm guilty of it too. And, but past history of something can be a red flag for the future behavior, but it also is not a guarantee of future behavior. And we got to be fair about that, especially now. I'm happy knowing we have this group of FBI, police, and all that looking into this. And hopefully they can help fill in the pukas, the holes going on. Okay, hopefully it kicks in volume-wise quickly.
Wearing blue jeans, long sleeve blue shirt with black Harley Davidson hiking boots. A photograph of Stefanie is available for publication, and you can see a picture here. Since her disappearance, the Major Crimes Unit detectives in our Northern Field Division, along with the Boston Division of the FBI, have spent hundreds of hours investigating her disappearance, conducting countless interviews, and following up on leads. The Maine Warden Service have canvassed the woods searching for Stefanie, but at this time, there's been no credible information or sightings of Stefanie. The Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit North is collaborating with the Federal Bureau of Investigation with this missing person investigation. Anyone with information concerning Stefanie's whereabouts is urged to contact the Maine State Police at 1-800-924-2261 or 207-532-5400. And you may contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. At this time, I'd like to introduce Special Agent in Charge, Kim Milka from the FBI, who will be making an announcement regarding a reward related to this case.
Thank you, Major. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming and for helping us keep the public informed about our efforts to locate Stefanie. I'm Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Kimberly Milka with the FBI. Our hearts are with the family and friends of 14-year-old Stefanie Damron, who are patiently waiting for answers about her disappearance and are hoping for her safe return home. On September 27th, 2024, the FBI joined forces with our law enforcement partners to assist in the search. Today, we are renewing our call for the public's assistance, and we are here to announce that the FBI is offering a significant reward of up to $15,000 for information leading to her safe return or the arrest and prosecution of anyone involved in her disappearance. The FBI hopes this reward will incentivize anyone with information about Stefanie's whereabouts to come forward. Any detail, no matter how small, could be helpful. Stefanie's family desperately wants to know where she is, and we are fully committed to helping our law enforcement partners exhaust every investigative resource to find her and bring her home. Immediately after she was reported missing, the FBI brought in our Child Abduction Rapid Deployment, or CARD team. The CARD team is a group.
Just so you guys know, what Collins is getting at here is there's been some discussion. Did she just go into the woods, or did she walk to the end of their driveway and someone picked her up there? Okay. There's been a lot of questions about that and everything. Did she actually walk down? I myself have said, I'm not sure. Unless she has a phone or access to phone, if you have a fight with someone and you walk away out of anger real quickly, you have no way to call someone and ask them to pick you up. And that's been something that's always been in the back of my mind here. Now you can plan ahead of time. Hey, I'm going to be at the end of this place at this time or whatever. But it's not something that's going to happen naturally. And so just to kind of give you an inkling of what's going on with that discussion there, because I do know this is a case that very few of you really know about other than last week's live. And hopefully we can pick this up and get more people covering.
A group of highly trained and experienced subject matter experts on cases involving missing children. Investigators have conducted dozens of interviews and followed up on leads in Maine, across the country, and even Canada. Despite extensive investigative efforts, including a neighborhood canvass and video search, along with an expansive grid search utilizing canines from Maine Warden Service and Maine State Police, Stefanie is still missing. We will continue to assist Maine State Police with on-the-ground investigative, technical, and analytical support. We know many of you want to help, which is why we are asking the public to review Stefanie's missing person poster and share it on social media. Rest assured, we are working to find out what happened to Stefanie and reunite her with her family.
So $15,000.
So we'd also like to take just a moment and thank the members of the public and the media for their continued attention to this case. Your efforts in keeping Stefanie's disappearance in the forefront of the community are invaluable, and we do appreciate your support as we remain focused on bringing her home safely. As you know, there are some investigative details and strategies that are unable to be shared at this time, but we will do our best to answer a few questions if you have them.
And this is what I'm talking about. When I talk about, okay, Hannah, and I make these comments, it's one reason why I wanted to cover both of these things today. There's a difference in how both cases were approached with getting information out to the public. And this is what I mean here. And Collins is saying a lot of people are disregarding what law enforcement has said and spreading what people say in comments on Facebook as fact. Yes. And guys, that is something that's important. I mean, all of us get caught in these times that we say something that in the end is not right. Whether someone else shared, hell, I just did this in Discord earlier today. Okay, Chris shared with me a case to cover, and I was in the middle of doing all this other stuff. So I quickly ran over to Google, did a Google search on the person, and I'm like, oh, they already found her. Okay, I'm not a lie, but no, what I didn't realize, because I looked at it so quickly, was it was a TikTok. 2 different messages. Okay, the top 2 comments on Google were from TikTok. And here I am ready to go out and say, oh yeah, no, she was, no. Okay, so be careful. Verify what you're saying before you go and do that. And too many times, all of us get caught in that. And it's going to happen on occasion. It shouldn't be happening more than on occasion. So here we go.
Did you have a cell phone and leave it behind, or did you not have one at all? If you did leave it behind,
About her cell phone. Did she have one and leave it behind?
Devices taken with her at this time, and she did not have a cell phone.
Has she run away before, and what is your hope that maybe that she's run away again this time? Simply say.
So this behavior has not been uncommon for Stefanie, which is why I think the family waited a little bit of time, gave her a little bit of time before calling the police immediately. And so, but in this case, for obvious reasons, since she hasn't turned up, we slowly ratcheted up all the investigative resources that are present, in that area today for this reason.
We've gotten some information about that there may be some concerns inside the household, no running water, things like that. There's other children in the household. Is DHHS called in at all?
Yes, thank you for that question. Of course.
So before he answers this, what he's getting at here is there's been some concerns because of past issues and stuff like that. Okay, are the other children at the house safe? Could this be connected to all those things we're talking about. So they want to know, okay, has Child and Family Services gotten involved? Is everything okay? Things like that. So it makes sense. And BC, yeah, there's always a random person she may have come across and trusted. Okay, there's so many potentials here. And that's why it's important for us not to just get stuck on one idea here. There's so many possibilities, and each one can become worse than the one before, to be honest. But that's what they're getting at here.
Of course, yeah. So in any of these cases, whenever we have a minor that's involved, that goes missing, or there could be an issue in the home, yeah, DHHS is always notified in those circumstances, and certainly in this case they were.
One of the flyers I saw said ties to West Virginia, Texas, and New Hampshire. Is that accurate? And if so, are those friends or other family members?
Lieutenant, did you want to speak to those?
So the tips that have come in for out of the area, so there's some for Canada and other states. They're tips from the public that maybe she had a social media friend at the time or an acquaintance. So we just try to follow up on any information for those outside states.
Do you have any reason to believe that there was foul play? So the car unit was involved and then
Foul play.
with somebody, or was it meeting?
So at this point, everything is still on the table for us. From her simply being missing to run away to the worst situation, because we don't have any concrete leads or tips that have led us basically in one direction or the other. So we don't want to leave anything on the table and not take something serious. So, but at this point, there's nothing that leads us in one specific direction.
That's what's so scary is 60 plus days later now, not just 60, but 60 plus days later, there's nothing. There is absolutely nothing for them to go on at this point. And as soon as we're done with this, I am going to pull up what I've been doing here is pulling up the map and her posters so we could go through that. Collins is saying also for people following this case are aware where she disappeared from is surrounded by thousands of acres of thick woods, swamps. The town they live in has very low. Yes. And that was exactly, Collins, why I wanted to pull up the map as soon as we're done with this. So thank you.
Was there to verify that she went into the woods and with dogs, or was there any sort of,
Other than the information that that's where she was headed is the woods, and that is also past behavior as well.
you haven't uncovered any evidence about where possible whereabouts?
We have not.
I know you guys waited a little bit to do that ground search, to do that extensive ground search, with the members of the community. Do you guys think maybe you waited too late to do that in order for the dogs to get sent, or?
Not this long after, for sure.
So the ground search with the warden service was only a few days after the fact. Typically in a missing person investigation, you start with the investigative leads, and then you call in the resources that you need. So it's a matter of following up. So no, I don't believe it's too late. And the wardens they'll do a grid search as well, so it's more than just dogs, it's also humans as well.
What about anything that has led to trafficking, sex trafficking? I mean, we're talking
What about trafficking, things like that?
People think it doesn't happen there, but in your experience, has there been anything that could be connected to this?
Again, all possibilities of what happened to Stephanie are still on the table. We don't have any specific information that that's what's happened, but we are trying to look into any tips.
If you notice one thing they're telling us here, and I'm sorry, this is something I've seen a lot of, not just this case, but a lot of cases, people grab onto one idea of what's happened and they're stuck with that idea. That's not what you're hearing here. What you're hearing here is that everything is still on the table. And that's something important to keep remembering. Everything. We can't lock ourselves down. And thank you, Collins, for that information. Okay. They didn't mention at the same time this press conference is happening, they had 2 roadblocks in New Sweden, and they were passing out flyers and asking questions to folks. So they're ratcheting up, okay, the investigation here.
Tips that would lead us in that direction if we receive them.
Because it's so far up north, I know you said you were searching Canada as well. If she was in Canada, how would that process move forward, looking for her?
We would partner with the RCMP or the FBI also has resources that we can partner with other law enforcement to follow up on any information over there.
Again, 20 miles away.
The FBI doesn't typically get involved with, say, a typical run-and-play case. So people might be asking, why are you here? Is it because the family is concerned, because of mentioned violence?
Well, I think in any missing persons case, especially so close to the border like this, you're going to want to involve the FBI, especially in any missing persons case where we haven't taken anything off the table, nothing has been ruled out or eliminated. Crossing state lines is certainly in one of those possibilities. And of course, that's outside our jurisdiction, so that's where we would really look for help from the FBI.
Actually, Collins might be able to answer that, KK. KK is asking, I have to ask because of what happened most recently in our country, so don't come at me. Has there been a significant increase in illegal immigrants? And that's something, it's a fair question. I mean, it's something that we've been asking more and more because we've seen that case in many cases of missing or hurt children. And I'm not saying everyone, you know how I feel on that. It's not everyone, it's not blanket, but it's a good point. Collins, I don't know if you know from being in the area, are you guys being affected in that? I know I can tell you this, it's a teeny tiny town. So my suspicion is probably not, but I may be completely wrong on this too. So we'll have to see what Collins has to share on this. By the way, sorry, I know I'm saying Collins, it's Collins Customs Service, but okay, got it. So that's interesting too. And good, fair question, and we got ourselves an answer there. Not saying they're directly tied, but we'd never know. We don't know.
Kim,
Are there concerns that be in the woods, but in more danger with the falling temperatures and the snow this week?
Of course,
Weather.
There's always that concern. I think our hope at the beginning of hunting season is that a hunter
a good point.
might come across something that would lead us in one direction or the other. That has not happened. There is still a little bit of hunting time left up in that area, so I would highly encourage those hunters that are up there to be extra vigilant.
Although this was like common behavior with Stephanie, was there anything that maybe the family indicated was different about maybe conversations or anything like moments leading up to her leaving?
Yeah, we're really not going to get into those investigative details about what was happening in her life in those that day or two prior to, but at this point, everything is still on the table.
Tell me if DHHS intervened at all or anything that they may have done.
Has DHHS gotten involved?
No, I'm sorry, I can't speak to what DHHS is doing or their involvement.
Well, you said
Other than they got involved, called in.
I can't speak to that but for saying it was not uncommon. This was not uncommon behavior for Stephanie.
And guys, you can see that. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but when I hit 12, 13 years old, okay, especially if you're living out, okay, you get mad at your parents, you get mad at your siblings or whatever. You go out, if you live near the woods, I used to do this all the time. I'd just get up and I'd go I didn't go deep in the woods or anything like that. But when I lived at Fort Leonard Wood, I'd go off into a little quiet area where I wouldn't have people around and then I'd go back later. So I could see where that thought process would have been. Let's see, Collins is saying, yeah, I'm not 100% of the activity up there. I do know our state has always been a place where people come to seek asylum. Got it. And you're on the coast of Maine, New Sweden's far north within, yeah, it's really, guys, it's as soon as this is done, we'll share the map because it is super close. And I can understand with how close it is, why the FBI had to get into this because you don't know if she's been, and yeah, BC, that's the thing, the fact that they were, and you have to be realistic. If you're up in the woods and deep woods, type thing. I think the family lived, what was it, like a half a mile or something? I forget the exact number, but deep into the woods. They didn't just live on the outs. They lived inside the wood area. That is what if you know someone headed off in that direction and they haven't been seen, I guess in the back of your head, you're thinking, Will someone see clothing? Will someone see, okay, jewelry? Will someone something even worse? But none of that. I mean, missing without a trace is what we've got going on here. Wow. That much snow? Gosh. Yeah, no, I'm not used to snow out
Is
here.
there a history of maybe mental health concerns or anything along those lines?
I don't believe there was at this point. I don't believe that there was any history of mental health concerns whatsoever. But again, certainly, you know, we proceed with all of these cases as if, you know, anybody is under mental duress or anything like
Yeah.
that. So if there was an issue, we certainly, you know, wouldn't do anything differently at this point.
Okay. We'll let one more question. Go ahead.
I don't know. I guess I can't speak to that.
Did she have a
I don't
passport?
believe she did. No.
Did she leave a note at all?
No.
Okay, thank you.
She
guys.
did not
Thank you.
leave a note. So no passport, no note. Okay, which kind of fits. I mean, she literally had a fight and okay, left right after that fight. Nothing else going on after that. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, now that they've gotten so much snow, okay, yeah, like they said, there's still some amount of hunting season, but it's going, a lot of stuff would have been covered up at that point. So if you go, yeah, here we go. We're gonna go to there. Oh, thank you, West Road, and do the Google Drive. You'll get an idea of how ice. Okay, perfect. We're gonna go do that right now. Let me just pull out my Google Earth. And Dan is saying more snow on the way. Oh my gosh. See, that's the one thing I love about living in Hawaii. I literally have air conditioning on right now. And so, okay, let me share. Not that. I don't want to share that. I want to share this. Okay, let me go in here. Google Earth. Okay, here we go. I did not prep all this stuff, so it's going to be a little, but anyhow, New Sweden. Okay, you know your US here. You got Maine up here. Okay, this is literally New Sweden, right in this area. There's Canada. Let's zoom us in a little bit more. Now, again, remember I said New Sweden is a teeny, teeny, tiny town. We keep going in, and you literally don't see a town there, guys. That's how small this town is. Everyone, my suspicion is everyone knows everyone. And that's also why the town cares so much right now, because they do all know everyone. Okay. Now, Stephanie and her sibling or siblings, I can't remember, were homeschooled. Parents, okay, pulled the children out of school because they did feel okay the way that we're approaching things as a society right now is not the best thing. That was their choice, and that's fine. And let me go into this other thing. You said to click on West Road. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. West Road, New Sweden. Let's see where it takes me now. Okay, so here's West Road. So let me just save that. So if I get lost, I can go back to it because I do get lost. Okay, so this is going into West Road. I'm not sure which direction. And do the Google Drive, you'll get an idea how. Okay, perfect, perfect. So we'll just go into Google Drive from there. Okay, let's, if you even can do Google Drive here. I mean, look at this, guys. This looks like the outskirts of a town, but it is the town. Okay. Oh my. Okay, good. We can. Okay. I mean, it's a gorgeous. I've looked at pictures before and I'm like, it is an absolutely gorgeous little town. But you can kind of see if they live off of the road into, I don't know if this is going to pass us beyond here. If they live down one of these roads that goes in and keeps going in, okay, I cannot get us down deep into the roads that way, but it's super, super out there in the middle of nowhere. And now consider everywhere is white with snow. Okay. Even and you don't even see really a main street per se. I guess this would be the main street, from my understanding. It looks like it's their main street. Collins, I just saw you wrote something. Let's see here. Go down. Um, oh, really? Same. Oh, now that's interesting. That is super interesting. They live farther from town, due north. Okay, perfect, perfect. So yeah, it's really okay. If you're going from there, I just went back into it. Sorry, I didn't mean to go back into it. Okay, let's click there. So if they live farther north, okay, let's reset north so we're getting the right direction. Okay, look at this. This is what we're talking about. This is literally where she went. Now, like was mentioned earlier, there's some thought, could she have walked down to the base of the driveway and someone have picked her up there? Okay, that was one of the thought processes going on. Now I don't know. I don't know. To me, I think there'd be a higher chance of her going down there and then just walking on the road. But from what we heard in the past, when she would go missing in the past, she would go to a friend's house or she would go to another sheltered area. She hasn't gone to any of those sheltered areas, guys. That's what's scary with this thing. What is connected? What happened to her? Okay, I know there's a lot of thoughts. Okay, did something else happen? Possibility. We got to be realistic. It's what the police are doing right now. They're looking at all of those options. Could something have happened, okay, that we aren't being told about? Could she have wandered into the woods and something had happened in the woods? Could she have wandered out to the main road and someone picked her up? Multiple possibilities here right now. Let me real quickly, I am going to share, I want to pull up her picture real quickly, because her poster is what is very important right now to be able to share. The picture you're seeing up in the corner right now is actually the most recent photo we have of her, the one with the flower in her hair. That's the most recent photo we have of her. The other one is a little old, okay, a little younger, and you can kind of see the difference, okay, as she's getting old. She's 14 years old now. And as this says here, Main Street State Police and the FBI are requesting public assistance in finding Stefanie. She was last seen September 23rd. Today is December 2nd. People are getting ready to go into the holiday season. We're deep into the holiday season, actually, now. Okay, and she's still missing. She did go missing on the 23rd. She had that fight with her sister on the 23rd. She walked out and she was not seen again. Family thought she'd show back up on the 24th. She still had not shown up. They picked up the phone and they made the call to report her missing. Okay, it's almost sad they had to put all this stuff here about at the time of her, she didn't have a vehicle. She was 14 years old, probably not. But the fact is there's so little known about her right now that that's what they had to do. She doesn't have a cell phone. She doesn't have a laptop or a tablet. Okay, she was not enrolled in public school, so she doesn't have that connection with a larger group. Okay, her friends and her connections are probably very tight. Being in such a small town, the people she hangs out with and calls her friends are probably very limited. Okay, yeah, Collins, you are definitely one of her voices, and there's a lot of people who are being her voices. And voices are, when you're worried about someone as young as this, we support and we be a voice in so many different ways. And we start feeling close to that person, even though we've never met them before. We start feeling closer to them and caring about what happens to them. And because of that, sometimes we're all human. We're going to grab onto this speculation. We're going to grab onto that speculation. But in the end, guys, we are here for Stefanie. No matter what. It was the same thing with Hannah. It didn't matter what we thought or anything. In the end, we were here for Hannah. We were here for her family. And that's the way it is. Okay, just trying to find her now. Stephanie Erlene Jen Damron, New Sweden. I think it was 20 miles away from Canada. She is 13 at that time, 14 years old now. Green eyes and brown hair. Her hair to me, maybe it's just me, but it looks like it almost has a reddish tinge to it. I don't know if it's a combination of the orange background and the orange flower, but it feels to me, and I got to take a look. I keep wanting to do this, look at other pictures to see if that is truly a reddish tint or not. She's 5 feet tall. She is 125 pounds. Now, when she went missing, and this is what's important. Oh, yeah, girl. I swear, when I was this age, high tech, yeah, was an answering machine, to be honest. That was like the newest thing when I was that age, for sure. Okay, back to the clothing. What's important with the clothing in this time is, I hate going here, but like they said, if people saw something in the woods, this is what they were kind of looking for. You were looking for blue jeans, a light blue shirt, and Harley Davidson boots. That's becomes very important. Yes, this many months later, if she's still out there, okay, walking about and stuff like that, and I'm sorry to have to approach it that way, but we have to be open to all possibilities again. She's probably not wearing that now and all. But at the time, that is what is of importance. What's sad is there's been no confirmed sightings. There's got to be so, and that actually scares me a little bit. The fact that there are no confirmed sightings. Even in like Hannah's case. Now, yes, big city, LA. Okay, there were literally people thinking they saw Hannah in Venice. Okay, a day or so ago. It wasn't her. There was no way it could have been her now. And difference here with Stefanie, it's so far out in the middle of nowhere. But what that also means is we're not seeing her in any large cities. Okay. Now, it sounds to me like the police and FBI have gotten some, okay, clues called in, some possible things called into them that they've been working on, but not much, which is why they're now coming out offering what is scrolling down at the bottom there, that $15,000 reward. Okay, up to $15,000 for any information that leads to finding Stefanie and bringing her home or finding out where she is and all. So we're going to keep covering her here, just like we do everyone else. There's some other cases I'm looking at right now to discuss in the future. Chris shared one with me over on Discord earlier today. If anyone's interested, please feel free to join us over on Discord. And but Chris did bring up a really good case earlier today that I do want to look at more, Janiyah McMichael. So those of you who have been looking into other cases and want to help be a voice for someone, please take a look at Janiyah McMichael. I want to share that with you guys when I can share the full story with you. So I'll see if I could do that later this week sometime on an unscheduled live. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, please, yeah, let me know if you guys hear anything else. I do know there is a Facebook group. In fact, let me find it real quickly for Stefanie. Let me share that with you guys in Discord, in chat right now. I'm going to remind everyone, though, what I always say, because so many times these Facebook groups, I love them because they help get the word out about things. But in the same point, they often become a thing where people are so tied to their side of speculation, they're not willing to realize this is speculation for all of us. And we're all here for the same exact reason, which is to bring these people home. And so let me share that. Oh, thank you, Cristola. I was hoping you'd get the idea about Discord. Join our little Discord, okay, and join our little discussions and stuff there. We also have Facebook, okay. If you go over to Facebook and look at the Local My Life, you will find our little group over there. It's a teeny tiny group, but yeah, it's there. And I do post there, so you can actually connect with me privately that way. And of course, Discord, you always can. So I'll let you know if I hear anything else with this, any other cases popping up. Friday, I'm not sure about True Crime Update. I'll let you guys know as the week goes on. I've got a craft fair going on this weekend, and I'm supposed to set up for it on Friday, even though it happens on Saturday. And so if that happens, depending on the time, I may not be able to do the live as much as I can. Oh, can you give one good verdict we got today? Yes, please, please, please. I like good news. Good news is important. And so, yes, I will hang us out here long enough to get KK's good verdict so we can share that out. Cassie, all of a sudden, I think Cassie heard me say something about winding things up. And now she's standing up like, oh, really? Really? Are we getting ready to? So, yes, we are getting ready to. And then you can go play. Mwah, she's a good girl. Some days. Some days she's not quite. But no, I didn't hear that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, that was definitely good news there. I have been see, that's the thing. When I get focused on research for these lives, I want to make sure I got the most recent information. So I'm researching right up to the time we go live, and I miss stuff all the time. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. And going along with the idea of research, if there are any of you guys who would like to help with putting together research for me, because one of the things I'm really trying to do is stay on top of old cases also. And anyone who's ever followed cases knows how hard that can get. So if any of you guys are interested, please let me know through Discord or Facebook. I've got a group on Discord, a separate folder that we're going to be opening up fairly soon, where we could talk about research and stuff like that. So, yeah, she is Looney Tunes. She definitely Looney Tunes for sure. So, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing Monday. Hope you guys had a great. Oh, shoot. Yes. Sorry. This one I got to stop on for a second. Mike. Oh, my God. I couldn't. Mike is behind a lot of organized crime here in Hawaii. Okay. He's been in jail for about 4 years, I think, if I remember right. There are some connections to a number of cases, including potentially some cases that we've discussed here on this channel. And he was found not alive in jail on, I think it was Saturday, if I recall right. It literally popped up. I was on my phone, and all of a sudden I saw this thing pop up, and I'm like, no. I sent it to Sleuth right away. I literally was like, oh my God, and I sent it to Sleuth right away. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Was it self? He was young. Those of you who didn't know anything about Mike, actually, here, wait. Forget it. Let's bring up Mike real quickly. I'm going to pull up the article about Mike Miskey. Just for those of you who are interested in this, because he had his hands involved in all sorts, and he literally died 1 week before sentencing. Okay, it's really crazy right now. Actually, let me switch over to Civil Beat. Civil Beat. I love Honolulu Civil Beat. If you want to see things that are happening in Hawaii, please support, okay, Honolulu Civil Beat. They do an amazing job over there. So we're going to share their story here just because this was big for us. I mean, this is, I don't know how it's going to fit. I meant to, BC. I wanted to cover it and I completely spaced out. Definitely would have on Friday because I would have realized I forgot it. But Mike Miskey was found dead in federal prison. Okay, he was found guilty of 13 federal counts in July, 2 of which carry mandatory minimum life sentences. He was found bye-byed one way or another. I don't know how. Okay, at his age, I don't think it was normal. Okay, natural causes. I may be wrong, but I don't see something like that happening here. And let me switch this over because you guys, I just realized, yes, it's very, very possible here. He went to jail for using a biological weapon. So yeah, he's okay. Let's go through this. For those of you who don't know about what Mike did, and honestly, like I said, I think Mike may have had his fingers in a lot of different things, including cases we've discussed here before, and in my own opinion, stuff like that. So Mike Miskey Jr., one of Hawaii's most notorious crime figures, was found dead on Sunday morning in the federal detention center where he has been for 4 years. Assistant U.S. Attorney Ken Sorensen confirmed he was found dead in his cell but declined to comment further. He did apparently kill himself, unalive himself, sources told Civil Beat. In July, after a trial that lasted months, Miskey was convicted of 13 federal counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, and murder in aid of racketeering. He was scheduled to be sentenced on January 30th and face mandatory minimum life sentences on 2 of the charges. Many of us feel he could have been involved in everything from what you were hearing here to the potentials and stuff like that. Miskey has been held in the federal detention center in Honolulu since July 15th, 2020, when he was arrested. Among other things, Miskey was, was convicted of murder for the 2016 killing of Jonathan Frazier. Frazier was a close friend of Miskey's son, Caleb, who died after a car wreck both young men were involved in. Miskey believed Frazier was driving the vehicle that night, was responsible for his son's death, but evidence showed it was Caleb Miskey who was behind the wheel at the time of the accident. Frazier was last seen on July 30th, 2016, and his body has never been found. Miskey's cousin, Marianne Miskey, wrote in an email that Miskey's family is extremely disappointed in the government. Sorry about that, my dear. It's life. And the federal detention center for failing to keep him safe. Regardless of what they thought of him, he is still, and no, I get it. I got to be realistic. Okay, yeah, no, a human life is still a human life. And he still does affect other people's lives. And they are still, no matter what a dirtbag a person is, people do have connections and emotions tied to them. And we should remember that, in all honesty. He is a son, a father, a brother, a grandfather, an uncle, nephew, and a friend, and he is loved. All should remember that. She described Miskey as a capable person who showed love, kindness, and acceptance. She said he would always tell her, "Love you, cousin." And you know what? I get it. And I do feel for family members who had that love for him. I wish his behavior had shown the love for others also. Sorry, but it's just the way I feel. And we all have a right to those feelings. Sorry, but it's true. And so that is a biggie. I don't know that they say on his own. Okay, self-unaliving. We never know. It's like Epstein, you never know. You never know anything. There's going to be all these ideas of this, that, and the other, and stuff like that. I guarantee, like when I was talking to other people about this there's other people out there who are higher than him in the whole racket and lower than him and all this other stuff. And it's sad because it continues to hurt other people out there. But anyhow, yes, thank you for bringing that one up, because I definitely wanted to bring that one up. And also, anyhow, back to saying goodbye to y'all and everything. Please, please, please keep the families of the two people we talked about tonight in your, and even Mike Muskie's family. Okay, I will say that, because he's still their family. And that Hannah's family is going, still fears and all that is still going on for them. Okay, keep all the friends and the neighbors and the community involved in Stephanie's disappearance in your thoughts and prayers. And okay, that's what we can do, in addition to sharing. Share their posters, share their stories. And hopefully we can bring home whoever is willing to come home and get answers, at least for the ones that are not willing to come home. So, love you all tons. Cassie, you want to say goodbye? You want to say bye? Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. No.